What up guys, today we're going to be reacting to Death Battle's video of Gojo versus Makima from Jujutsu Kaisen versus Chainsaw Man. Now, I have seen a bit of Chainsaw Man and Jujutsu Kaisen. I've been trying to catch up on Jujutsu Kaisen again. When it first came out, I was watching it, then I stopped watching it because I read the manga and I kind of got far in the manga. And there's some stuff about it I didn't really like. They're killing off a lot of characters, so I personally just didn't like that idea and I kind of gave up on it. But I have been going back to it and watching it again because I saw some clips of Gojo fighting against a character named Toji, I think, and that fight looked pretty cool, so I thought why not just check it out again and go back to it. But I haven't caught up fully yet either, and I definitely haven't seen the manga itself, so I don't know the full extent of his powers, but I do know he has a lot. He's very powerful. I have seen some videos on him with him having infinite and limitless, these different abilities, which he has the ability to basically slow down anybody the closer they get to him, to the point where they basically stop and they cannot reach him. And then he also has an ability where he can basically put infinite amount of information into somebody's brain or something like that. So he's very powerful. I've also heard Makima is very powerful. And I've also watched Chainsaw Man. I kind of quit on that because I kind of got bored of it, to be honest. I really didn't care for it. So I stopped, I think, around like episode 7 or 8. So yeah, I don't know the full extent of her power either. I haven't checked out the manga for hers, obviously. So I don't know the full extent of both their powers. But from what I've heard, that Makima has the ability of like mind control and mind manipulation. And even if Gojo is more powerful than her, she could probably use that against him. But I don't fully know the full extent to of her power and how she uses that, so I'm not gonna say 100% that she's gonna beat him, but that's just my that's just my pick for right now. So I'm assuming that Makima is gonna win, but I could be wrong, so don't get mad. I don't know enough about both of these characters for me to make a definitive answer on who would win in this fight. Now, before I get into this, I do want to give a big shout out to a new subscriber by the name of Beastmaster999. And also, before I get into this video, I do want to say that in my last video that I did on Toaster XD, he actually commented on my video saying, "Thank you, man. Thanks for enjoying the video," or something like that. And I thought that was pretty cool. So yeah, he has seen my video, so he knows of me and my channel. Obviously, he probably hasn't watched all my videos. He's probably seen like a few, but he's definitely has seen that one at least. So yeah, that's pretty exciting. So yeah, with that being said, let's get into it.
Japan, December 7th, 1989. Satoru Gojo was born, and the world changed.
And in the world of Jujutsu Kaisen, invisible, cursed spirits born from negativity threaten humanity.
So it's up to the Jujutsu sorcerers to do battle with them.
And what better way to learn the trade than to sign up for Tokyo Jujutsu High?
At this institution, a sorcerer will learn to harness their cursed energy, or the spiritual manifestation of intense emotion.
It's like Ki, but if Ki desperately needed therapy.
With it, sorcerers can boost their physicality and perform devastating curse techniques. Anything from voodoo dolls to swapping places with mere claps.
And lucky for humanity, Satoru Gojo's the best sensei a sorcerer could ask for.
Gojo isn't just the best, he's known as the strongest. His very birth forced the strength of curses to exponentially rise. Like witnessing a world record get broken, cursed society shifted to match the might of Gojo's presence.
As a kid, Gojo knew he was the shit. He mastered the art of the riz, the hoops, and the curse murdering, all alongside Suguru Geto, his sorcerer BFF.
Together, they planned on changing Jujutsu society for the better.
And if anyone could do it, Gojo could. Thanks to his bloodline, he got one of the most busted anime powers ever, Limitless.
Limitless grants Gojo a nigh-perfect defense by actualizing the very concept of infinity.
It creates an infinite space around himself, stopping anything coming his way. The dude is literally untouchable.
Kind of. Gojo tailored Limitless to automatically detect an object's mass and velocity. As the difference between himself and an object decreases, Limitless halves the object's velocity. It's like Zeno's paradox.
Think of it this way. If you're trying to get from point A to point B, first you gotta go halfway, then you gotta go another halfway, then another and another, and so on. With Limitless, you'll never arrive, just like my alimony payments.
Hence, infinity. Yeah, it might sound complicated, but it basically creates a spatial force field around Gojo at all times.
Techniques on this level would burn out other sorcerers in seconds. That's where Gojo's incredible 6 eyes come in. They let him see and near perfectly control cursed energy at the atomic level. So he'll basically never run out of juice in a fight. He isn't just built different, he was born different.
6 Eyes and Limitless gave Gojo the power to manipulate.
Okay, so in Limitless brings forth the concept of infinity, grants levitation and teleportation, which is very helpful because now not only will it, give him a perfect defense and barrier, but also if, let's say, there's a character that's faster than him, he could at least teleport, and he can also fly, so that helps him out a lot. Enhanced cursed energy sensing and analysis. Sorry if you hear that, there's a car outside. So I'm guessing this will not work against her that well because this was specifically about cursed energy. So, and it's not like Ki, where Ki is like living energy, so any being can have it. Cursed energy seems different. So, yeah, it could work in his realm, but I don't think it's going to help him out against Makima. So that's not going to really work well. Unless if it was just him being able to sense energy, then yeah, that would be very helpful. But the fact that it's cursed energy, it doesn't really work. Reduces cursed energy usage. Okay, so at least that's also helpful. So it minimizes the amount of energy he consumes when he uses it. I guess it's kind of akin to in Naruto when I think it was first it was Kakashi, then it was Jiraiya teaching Naruto how to control his like chakra reserves because he had a high amount of chakra within him. It was just that he was using it incorrectly and wasting a lot of his energy. So they taught him how to control it better and use it to the point where he was not wasting a lot of energy. He was using it more, I guess, properly to the point where it was less energy consumption. So not only can he fly, but he can also teleport. He can have a barrier stopping things coming close to him and touching him. He can also sense energy and stuff like that, but that's cursed energy, so that's not going to work in this fight. And then he also can basically minimize the amount of energy consumption, so he can go for longer durations throughout the fight. That also helps him out. Lapses blue and reverse red. I heard like blue was I forgot what it was. I think reverse red was like it repels energy. Yeah, it says right here, hollow purple, maximum unlimited output. I think they're gonna explain it more, but like I said, I've only watched a couple of episodes. I haven't finished season 1 yet. But yeah, I'm pretty sure he has the ability where he can use like energy to send things flying or to I forgot, so I'll just wait for them to explain it. Barrier techniques, certain new shadow style, simple domain, falling, blossoming, motion. Also, they, from what I heard, the domain expansion that they have, when they do it, whatever attack that they send out in their domain expansion, whoever's in that will be hit no matter what, unless the other person has a high, more power and has a higher domain expansion, so they will be above it. So if he's against a character that's weaker than him or around his power, if he does his domain expansion, they cannot dodge his attacks, which also makes him even more deadly to fight. But I also wondered this about his Limitless, is what if a character can move at the speed of light or faster than the speed of light or faster than time itself? Could it stop that? Because yes, it can have the infinite of that, but it's like, is it because it's characters and things that are moving still fast, but within the confines of physics? But if you have characters that go faster than the speed of light, would he be able to slow them down? Like, let's say somebody like the Flash tries speed blitz him and he uses that. Could he prevent him from going through? Or would he be just too fast and he'd be able to actually break through and hit him? Also, there's another thing. You can... there's characters that have abilities where they don't have to physically touch the person. They can transfer the energy to wherever they're trying to target. Like kind of Luffy. Luffy had it with the hockey thing where he doesn't have to touch his opponent. It basically sets off an explosion inside them. So that could probably work on him. It might not touch him physically, but that energy they can locate within his body or use psychic attacks on him, which isn't physical.
Space itself. Gojo's lapse blue technique attracts and condenses space into singularities. With reversal red, Gojo does the opposite, repelling space. Think push and pull. But you may be asking, how does one accomplish this with cursed energy? With math!
Okay, so they explain it right there. So they have one that pulls and then one that pushes. It's kind of like Pain with his almighty pull and almighty push, where his one was different. He was just using like like air pressure and stuff like that, and he was basically using his chakra to pull them closer, to blow them away. Whereas this one, he's doing the space itself, so it's more scientific, and there's a mathematical analysis right there, which that's pretty cool that they're showing actual math. I want to see a real mathematician or a physicist, look through this and see how accurate it is, because maybe the mangaka might have some knowledge but not fully, and he's just like, hey, this is just extra stuff, whatever. But yeah, that's also very powerful, because now he can pull somebody in or just send them flying off, which is even more power to him. He has so many abilities, and it's going to be very tricky to beat him.
Curses!
Exactly! Cursed energy is typically negative, like with blue, but when multiplied by itself, negative cursed energy becomes positive, creating red.
Oh, strawberry and blueberry.
So, what happens when you combine a positive and a negative?
Grape?
0. And by combining reversal red and lapsed blue, Gojo creates hollow purple, an enormous ball of curse energy that literally applies the concept of 0 to an opponent, crushing and repelling them into nothing.
Gojo's a walking cursed Swiss Army knife. Levitation, teleportation, even expanding limitless to fry his enemies. Gojo can also use positive energy to heal humongous wounds, and he's constantly refreshing his brain with it 24/7 to keep up with all of this.
Still, there's one technique that costs more cursed energy than anything else.
They're going to explain domain expansion. Like I said, there's a lot of abilities, so I want to touch upon some of them, because even if you haven't seen the series, you can have some knowledge of it, something about some stuff about science. And I'm not some like major scientist, but I do know quite a bit. So the cursed energy, the purple one, I'm guessing it just basically it doesn't completely bypass durability, but if it does attack you and you're not able to handle it, it'll completely obliterate the body, which is very powerful. And then the domain, like I said, from what I saw in the episode, it was stated that if you get trapped in it, whatever attack they do on you, it's going to hit you 100% of the time, except if you have more power than them and can create a domain expansion that can overcome theirs. Now you're not going to be trapped in theirs, but they're going to be trapped in yours. So him, since he is the most powerful, anybody that goes up against him that has domain expansion will not work on him, because he could just literally open up his own, which would overcome theirs and then take over. Now, against a character who doesn't use domain expansion, maybe you could say that a character, if they have more power than him or like energy than him, they can break out of it freely. But I don't know.
In a sorcerer's repertoire.
Every sorcerer is born with an innate domain, a mental world shaped by their mind and heart.
Add cursed energy to it, and these domains can be manifested physically, a technique called domain expansion.
Every sorcerer worth their salt needs one, and you know damn well Gojo has the scariest, unlimited void. You get caught in this, your ass is grass.
Exposure to unlimited void overloads your consciousness with a stream of infinite information. A mere fifth of a second of exposure can leave a normal person in a vegetated state for months.
Too bad it requires so much energy you can only do it like once a day. Oh wait, except for Gojo, who has done it multiple times in a row. Thanks again, Six Eyes!
Quite frankly, Gojo was getting so strong that the axis of the Jujutsu world began to turn on him. Like the meta of a fighting game defined by one broken character, he defined the hierarchy of power in the sorcerer world. He alone was the honored one.
His mere presence can cause earth.
Okay, so now let's go through his feats. I also want to talk about that. He has the ability to put infinite amount of information through a person's brain, basically frying the brain out. Like I said, he has a lot of abilities. He has teleportation. He has perfect barrier that slows down things to a certain point where it just completely stops them at that point. He can repel energy, pull people and push people out. I think I already said teleportation. He's obviously also really fast. He can minimize the amount of energy that he uses. He can regenerate. He can also sense other people with cursed energy. Then they said, the information thing. I think the only way I don't know if there's a way to stop it. Maybe if somebody has strong psychic ability where they can mentally protect themselves. And I know it's not a psychic attack is just pure information, but they could probably have a psychic blockade where the information doesn't register in their mind, so their mind doesn't get overwhelmed by it. So if somebody has a psychic ability, they could put a limitation on their brain where their brain, whatever information that comes in to a certain amount, it just gets filtered out and it doesn't really affect you anymore. So that could probably work on that. His birth shifted the world's balance. That doesn't really do anything for this one. Tremored in 8,000 meter deep trench. Okay. Obliterated buildings and forests. Okay. process 3 years worth of information in 1 minute. That's a lot. Healed from certain death, impalement. So he has pretty high level of regeneration. Fought against Sukuna and King of Curses. Defeated Jogo, Hanayama, Megami, Toji, and Muagara. They need to explain why that's impressive. Like I stated before, they state sometimes that this character beat that character, but it's like, well, how powerful is that character? Because if you want to emphasize how ridiculously OP they are, by stating these characters, you have to go a little bit. You don't have to do a full analysis, but just go a little bit in how powerful they are to make this feat a little bit more impressive. But these feats aren't as impressive as the explanation of his abilities itself.
Earthquakes. He outran sonic explosions and applied cursed energy within a microsecond.
Gojo has been repeatedly stated by many to be the strongest sorcerer there is.
That includes his ex-student Hikari, who can dodge lightning, or this little volcano-headed curse, Jogo, the embodiment of humanity's fear of fire, who can bring down city-shattering meteors, and Gojo kicked his ass with zero effort.
But strength alone was not enough to fix his cursed world. When Geto rejected Jujutsu Society to forge his own justice, Gojo's philosophy changed. Instead of doing everything himself, he would teach a new generation of sorcerers to carry the torch when he could not.
It's all about setting an example. If it means a world where his companions can stand shoulder to shoulder as equals, who cares if he's got to show off a bit?
Okay, so I'm going to skip the advertisement in there, but I just want to say this, that his abilities alone already put him at a high level of power, so she has to have some crazy abilities, more than just like some mental thing, to beat him, because he has too many weapons in his arsenal to compete against. Now, for a character to beat him, you would need other characters that are just as characters that are pretty powerful. I wouldn't say you need to have the highest level OP characters in fiction, but definitely some top level characters. Even if he's physically not as strong as most other characters in other fictional universes, his abilities alone puts him at a higher level because of his hacks in general. And this is one of the things about a lot of characters. Of they have hacks, they can beat a lot of other characters, but people also need to take into consideration the whole no limit fallacy thing, because that's one of the biggest problems I see in the debating communities and the versus communities, is people stating that this character has this OP ability, that means that nothing can work on them. Unless if it's stated that that's specifically the case, you can't just say that, because there's characters from other worlds that have different properties on how their abilities work, so you can use that. And I'll probably make a video talking about that, because I do have a lot of problems with people making these no limit claims about these ridiculous feats. Abilities. Because I get it, there's some techniques and hacks that characters have that are crazy, but like, come on. But yeah. That whole thing about him being the strongest but can't change it is kind of like with Superman. He's very powerful. He's the most powerful superhero, but he can't fix all the world by himself. He needs other powerful allies to do it too. So that's pretty interesting. So yeah, let's skip the advertisement until we get to there.
The birds are singing,
And a giant AK-47 carpet bombed the neighborhood. The sky rains blood. Millions are dead. Dear God, whiz, it's the end times. Run away!
Calm down, there's no reason to panic. It's just that in the world of Chainsaw Man, devils exist, and your fear makes them stronger. Never mind. Panic.
Remember that spider you shrieked at, or the last time you cut yourself dicing onions? Now the spider and knife devils are the monstrous products of your nightmares, and they hate you specifically.
The fearsome gun devil stood as the epitome of terror and destruction, and was responsible for a countless loss of lives. But a group was formed to combat it and the other devils that plagued humanity. The Devil Hunters.
Live in Japan and got yourself a pesky zombie problem? It's time to call the 4th Division of the Public Safety Devil Extermination.
A government-funded devil hunter unit led by a stone-cold vixen, Makima.
She's dressed like Columbo with a blank stare and a sadistic streak. She's been in the game for a while and just found herself a new prize.
The union of man and pet devil dog, Denji, the Chainsaw Man. Upon meeting him, she gave him a choice: live under her as a human dog or die by her hand as a devil.
Sounds sketch, but Denji's brain was set to teenage boy and Makima's hot. So in short order, Makima got a new pet.
Makima may seem terrifying at first, but she is a dog lover and a cinephile. Though you'd be ill-advised to mess with her.
Sure, for her position, you'd expect her to know how to defend herself.
advised to mess with her.
Sure, for her position, you'd expect her to know how to defend herself. Martial arts here, swordplay there, but devil hunters like Makima become real threats when they make contracts with devils. A classic Faustian bargain. Give something of yourself. The devil gives you power.
She can call death upon anyone she chooses through a complicated ritual and even survive being shot through the head.
Because, as they say in the devil hunter world, you need your screws loose to live.
But she might have more than a few screws loose because, in actuality, Makima is a devil herself.
Gasp! There's no way this clearly evil character could be a villain in disguise.
The Japanese government has been keeping a close eye on Makima ever since she was born. Rightfully so. She isn't some F-tier scrub like the Bat or Leech Devils. She's the Control Devil, embodying humanity's collective fear of the oppressor. In a way, she's even more terrifying than the Gun Devil.
Makima can exert absolute mental control over any creature she views as inferior to her, which is basically everyone. People, animals, even other devils become puppets under her command. She can even hijack their senses to listen and see whatever she wants.
As a devil, Makima's far stronger, faster, and more durable than the average person.
Plus, her metabolism lets her slam.
Before I get into the abilities, let's talk about that technique. That is very powerful to control anything, any mind. And that's one of the reasons why I assumed that she was going to win. Also, before I get into this, sorry for that weird edit. My internet went out for some reason and I had to go back because it started playing. But yeah, sorry for that weirdness. But talking about it again, like I said, the main reason I thought she would win was because she has that whole mind controlling power, which they explained. And that's what I heard from, I think it was from Toaster XD. He himself stated that she would beat him and Gojo can't beat her. But now that they explained that the fact that she can mind control anybody or anything unless she only when she views them as beneath her, that I think is gonna not. I changed my opinion now. Like I said, I don't know enough about both of these characters, so they're basically pretty much explaining to me more about how powerful they are and how their abilities work. I know a little bit more about Gojo because I have watched a little bit more of Jujutsu Kaisen than I watched of Chainsaw Man, and I did get through it in a little bit more in the manga than in Chainsaw Man, which I didn't even read the manga at all. So yeah, I would know a little bit more about his abilities, but for her, I just didn't know. I just heard that she had like some mind controlling power. And I assumed that if she can do that, even if she can't hit Gojo, she could probably just use him to attack his own self. So that's how she could have won. But by them explaining that she can do that when she views herself as more powerful than the person, I think that will come against her. So yeah, you could argue that she can mind control him. But the thing is, would she think of Gojo as beneath her? I highly doubt it. Even if she's very egotistical, clearly somebody like Gojo who's very confident in his abilities, who's actually very powerful, has so many techniques and abilities, I do not think that it will work on her. That was her best bet. Whatever other abilities she might have something cool or crazier, but I just feel like with his abilities alone, he's going to beat her. I felt like of the mind control thingy was the only argument or aspect that she had that I saw that she would have a victory against him, and that's what I heard. So sorry for the misinformation, but clearly her mind control only works on those who she views beneath her. She's not gonna, Gojo's stronger than her, so there's no way that could happen. So she can't do this against characters that are more powerful than her. So yeah, I changed my pick. I'm gonna go with Gojo. I think Gojo's gonna win. If her mind control was just like regular mind control where it works and they have to have some form of mental protection to fight against it, then I would have said she has a win there. But the fact that she has to view herself above them to do it, I don't think that's gonna help her out. So it says right here, works on being what's on any being she perceives as inferior is not going to work on him. He's more powerful than her, and he's also believes in himself heavily, so it's not going to beat him or most characters that are stronger than her. Can manifest his power into the form of chains. Okay. Devil physiology. So she has stronger than human physiology, but so does he, so that's not going to really help out a lot. Telekinesis, usually used as bang. He has more crazy abilities than that. Damage transfer. Damage is transferred among Japanese populace. Oh, so basically she can use the populace as a whole to transfer her damage. It's kind of like the character Hawkins from One Piece, where every time they try to attack him, he had these straw thingies in him, these voodoo straw creatures, and he was basically transferring the damage and the deaths to them. So that will help out, but I think he could kill her infinite amount of times to basically wipe them out. Death Ritual, which sounds powerful, but it might not work on him. Superhuman Senses and Halo Portal Creation. I don't know what that means.
Down as many beers as she wants to. So, Makima, if you're into countlessly divorced alcoholic rednecks, you know who to call.
By drinking blood, she can heal her injuries, and her sense of smell is so potent that it can spot targets from over 300 miles away.
Not only can she control your mind, but your body too with telekinesis. She can mess up your internal organs or blow you away with finger guns. She doesn't shoot you with invisible bullets. She points at you and then a wound just happens out of nowhere. She controls all sorts of things with these ghostly chains that stab her victims. Once they're hooked, they're easier to control.
Makima has plenty of devils in her collection. There's the massive Fox Devil, the Future Devil for precognition, and a ton of devils that exist just to stab you.
But I'm definitely all about the blow shit up devil, the undead party devil, the flamethrower devil, and the unholy matrimony that's the angel devil, which will make you see God before you die.
After about the 20th time, seeing God gets kind of old. Anyway, like other devils, Makima can form contracts with people to give them power.
Yeah, even if these devils have crazy abilities, I don't think they have as cool or as impressive abilities as Gojo. I think he will obliterate her now. Like I said, I was only going under the assumption that her, mind control was kind of like regular characters, but the fact that she has to perceive herself as above them to work on them is not going to work on Gojo or most characters that are stronger than her. So that's going to be pretty pointless, and that was her best shot at winning. But using these other devils, they might have some cool abilities, but I don't think it's going to help them out. Portals to other dimensions, I guess that's kind of cool, but I don't know how that's going to beat him. He could just teleport out of there, so okay. All these other ones seem kind of weak. Most of them are just stabbed creatures. So what? This is like a bunch of cursed creatures that he's fought, and I bet the cursed beings in Jujutsu Kaisen are a lot more powerful and more deadly and more tricky to beat than the ones in Chainsaw Man, because from what I saw, they're pretty simplistic.
But unlike other devils, her control powers allow her to force people into contracts that exclusively benefit her.
Like when she forced Japan's prime minister into a contract that states, and I quote, any attack made on her will be changed into appropriate illnesses or accidents among Japanese citizens.
What?
The verbiage of Makima's contract is worded specifically so that she quickly heals from any damage that is perceived to be an attack, transferring said damage to some poor random citizen of Japan.
Oh man, imagine like taking a shit and Makima gets hit and whoops, guess you're wiping at the pearly gates.
With these abilities and
that might help her to prevent her death from the first attack, but I think he could kill her multiple times before it fully works out and helps her out on that case. So yeah, like I said, it will help her out for a bit, but he can kill her multiple times. It's not gonna give her a guarantee win. It's just gonna prolong her final death. So it's just like she has multiple lives, but she can end up dying anyway, which I don't think she has any amount of enough lives to save her before she fully dies against Gojo. So yeah, like I said, the only ability that I saw where she would have a chance of winning is mind control, because even if you say, well, Gojo might have some resistance to mind control, I don't know why he would, because he doesn't seem to have any psychic abilities. I guess you could say him transferring that amount of information is a psychic ability, but it's technically really not. But I think that's the only way she could have won, because even if she can't touch him and he's more powerful than her or has better abilities than her, if she can control his mind, she could basically make him kill himself. So I'm pretty sure his attack should be able to hit himself, right? But now the fact that it required that stipulation, I don't think is going to work on him. And her other abilities don't seem that powerful. I guess the transferring the damage to other people is going to give her some form of protection against him. But all it's going to do, like I stated, is it's going to delay the inevitable. And at some point, she's going to just end up dying, because the amount of power he's able to exert is going to kill. She's going to either be able to completely obliterate her, which would bypass that, or kill her so much that, I'm pretty sure he can kill her enough times as the residents of Japan, even though that's like, even of, let's say, millions of lives, that's not enough to stop something like this. And it's not like she has any power against him, that could hurt him. And on top of that, he has the ability where he could, lessen the amount of energy consumption. So I don't think there's going to be a stamina problem there either for her to exploit.
In contracts, Makima set out to create the world that she wanted. No more pain, no more war, no more bad movies. The world would be perfect. But she needed the Chainsaw Devil to do so, who just so happened to be living as Denji's heart.
Yep, that cute doggo is actually the Chainsaw Devil. Oh, talk about shitty luck, kid.
In the depths of hell, Makima watched in awe as the Chainsaw Devil literally ate devils and eradicated plagues from existence. Because of the Chainsaw Devil, in this world, concepts like nuclear bombs, HIV, and even Nazis do not exist.
He literally ate the concept of Nazis out of existence.
However, as Makima didn't see Denji or the Chainsaw Devil as beneath her, she could not directly control him. She needed to manipulate him, so she decided to...
See what I mean? She's not going to see Gojo as beneath her because he's more powerful than her, so how is she going to see that? But also the concepts of removing it can eat it. And the reason why the concept get removed, because a lot of people say, well, she can, if she has his power or whatever, I don't know if she gets it at some point, but he can remove concepts together. But that's because in their world, whatever you believe in, it comes to life. So your fears and stuff is going to come to life, and it manifests itself. So then if it eats it, then it wipes it out. This is not going to work in other verses where just because you are scared of something, it doesn't come to life. Like, let's say Dragon Ball. Characters in Dragon Ball, just because they fear things, that doesn't mean that's going to come into existence. That's just how it plays out in their world. So in their world, you can wipe out those concepts by that way, but in other fictional worlds, you can't, because you can't conjure up creatures and things through that way. Maybe you can do that in, besides this, you could probably do that in Jujutsu Kaisen because it's kind of akin to that with the logic of how the world works. But also, I think Mob Psycho, because there was one of the episodes where there was this monster in some some lagoon area or some pond area that basically was manifested through people's fears of this urban legend that got created. So it could work there, but it won't work in most other universes where that isn't how it works. So some people might say, well, Denji and characters like that are beyond the concept, beyond concepts, but it's clearly not the case. It's just a roundabout way they did it because these concepts actually get formed into their world, whereas most other fictions, that's not going to happen.
Build Denji up and then tear him down as cruelly as possible.
First, she murdered Denji's found family one by one.
Then she made Chainsaw Man into a public hero, stripping him of the power devils receive by being feared.
Oh, so she could control her precious Chainsaw Devil and make him press backspace on anything she didn't like.
Her telekinetic bangs shot the Chainsaw Devil out of orbit, and they stalemated the Darkness Devil, which embodies humanity's greatest fears.
Makima's stronger than devils like the Bomb Devil, who can
manipulated most of the world's nations into submission, banged Picharu out of orbit, takes control of most of Japan's devils and friends and hybrids, regenerate from bisection and multiple severed limbs, stalemated the Darkness Devil. Okay, so yeah, she can regenerate too, but like his power, she can't even hit him, so... And his powers is way above her. And the bang thing, you could say maybe that could hit him. So there could be an argument there for the bang ability. But who knows, maybe he can stop that too. But maybe it's one of those ones, like I stated, those abilities where isn't a physical thing that touches you. It's basically energy you can transfer into whatever object you want to hit. So you don't have to physically hit them, you hit it, and then whatever you would visualize, it hits that, like with the hockey thing. So that could probably work, but like I said, he can regenerate, so that will help him out. And I saw in the Toji fight, he was cut up pretty badly, and he was able to survive that too. So he can take quite a bit of damage. He's no slouch in that department. And maybe he's still, even if it does hit him, maybe he has enough durability where the bang wouldn't work on him. It's not like this bang can just put holes through anything. Maybe it has a sort of like damage, limit. It's not like unlimited like damage you can do to any character. So he probably might be durable enough to handle it too. But if not, he can just regenerate.
can easily blow up buildings, or the Typhoon Devil, which made city-spanning storms.
And while fighting the Gun Devil fragment, this large behemoth moved over 300 miles in a few seconds.
She was pretty much unbeatable, though ultimate power can make it pretty lonely at the top.
Makima's quest may have been to make the world a better place through domination, but the truth she was never willing to admit to herself was that she really wanted to understand human emotion. After all, you can't control someone and love them at the same time.
Too bad she never quite found the answer she was looking for when the Chainsaw Man defeated her once and for all by cutting her to pieces, cooking her into a 7-course feast, and fucking ate her?
Believe it or not, the love Makima tried to understand was her undoing. Despite the hell she put him through, Denji still loved Makima in his own way. So the act of devouring her was its own act of love and did not count as an attack, bypassing her immortality.
Completely batshit insane. That's Chainsaw Man for you. Who knows?
So you love the person so much you're gonna fucking murder them and eat them. That's some Jeffrey Dahmer type of shit. What the fuck? I mean, she isn't a human. She's a monster. She's a devil. But still, that's fucking weird to think. I love you so much, I'm gonna kill and eat you. What the hell? That shit's stupid. But the immortality thing, it isn't really immortality. It's just transferring your damage to somebody else that they die. But it said it had the span of Japan. So, like I said, if he kills her multiple times, he can bypass that anyway. So even if he doesn't have love in his heart when he's killing her and he has actual intent to harm her like he would, it still wouldn't matter. It's not like in the 7 deadly sins. I forgot who it was. Escanor fought him. I forgot what his name was. I know he was the original angel that had Escanor's power, but his ability from the 10 Commandments was if you have any hatred in your heart, you would basically you cannot move. I think it was you can't move if you have hatred in your heart. So Escanor was able to bypass that because he didn't hate him. He just looked down upon him and he felt that he was better than him. But in this case, that's not going to prevent him. It's just that the damage, she can transfer it to somebody else, but she still has a limit. So you could either just kill her in a way where you are not trying to harm her, but somehow kill her like how he did in a form of love, or Gojo can just bypass it by killing her a bunch of times.
Knows, Wiz. Eventually, the control devil will come back, though it won't be Makima.
While her path back to hell was paved with good intentions, in the world of devils, it's no surprise that Makima came so close to her ideal future.
One.
We'll be considering curses and devils to be comparable beings to avoid arbitrary terminology in their power systems that might make this fight incompatible. We will also consider Gojo and Makima citizens of the same Japan to balance it out.
It's time for a death battle!
Love this part. Could have been some flicks right about now. But gotta kill you instead. Can't just let a curse do as they please.
No talking during the movie.
Huh? Curse technique lapse. Womp womp.
Careful. I could have died, but that much won't matter to you soon.
Don't worry. I'm Satoru Gojo, the strongest.
Confident, strong, and idiotic. We'll be sure to write it on your tombstone. Calm. I hope we don't kill you too quickly.
I should be good, since you're so weak.
Bang. Bang! 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 good boy and play dead.
Should I bark too? I'm getting really tired of your pets. Domain expansion. Unlimited void. Throughout heaven and earth, I alone am the honored one.
So do you think that place is offering discounted tickets or too soon? Yeah, I'll order online.
Gojo and Makima were complicated to compare. On the surface level,
Okay, this one stop right here. You guys probably saw me going completely retarded. The only reason I did that is because I was getting quite a bit of comments in my last two videos that I dropped, because I stated multiple times on this channel that I just want to focus on the pre-analysis and the post-analysis, because the whole point of these videos when I react to Death Battle is to basically look at their arguments that they're making and their points and to go based off of that. And the reason why I would skip the fights in between was simply because they themselves stated that they don't really matter. They're not an accurate representation of what will happen. It's just for visual, like, fun, you know, and entertainment. And personally, I just didn't care about that. I was focusing more on, you know, the statements that were being made and the claims and the feats. And I just wanted to correct things and, you know, add more of my information onto it. But a lot of people whined about it, so they told me to actually check out the battles, because they were telling me, this is not a reaction, this is an analysis. You should just call it an analysis. So I did react to two of the other videos, but I was getting complaints from you guys saying, you're not even reacting to it, you're not showing any emotion, which I was like, what do you want me to do, man? Like, that's just how I feel about it. I've seen too many good animes with crazy animation and, you know, art styles for me to be hyped up about some YouTube channel that does this. Not saying that it looks bad. It looks great the way they do it, but it's just not to the standard that I have seen what animation can be, because, you know, I'm kind of spoiled in that regard. But the reason why I was being over the top right there and acting stupid was because people were keep on complaining that I'm not showing enough motion, when I told them, hey, look, I'm not going to fake my motion or my reaction. I told you the reason I skipped the fight animation itself is because I'm just going to be staring at it like, okay, because there's nothing that's going to be like, oh my god, I don't really care. I just care more about, you know, the characters' abilities, their feats, and a little bit about their backstory and background. So yeah, I was just doing that to troll you guys and mock you guys for keeping on, keep on bitching and whining about me not showing any emotion and reacting to it, when I stated that, you know, that was going to be the case, but you guys wanted it, so I'll give you the fake reaction. So yeah, I definitely hammed it up to the highest level and overdid it. This has nothing to do with the fight itself. No shit to Death Battle or the fight itself, but I just wanted to do that to troll you guys that are keep on bitching about this, because I had some people saying, you shouldn't call a reaction video then. You guys do know a reaction video is me still watching it. Reaction video isn't, oh my god, somebody making some stupid face or overly over the top gesture. That isn't a reaction. That's overreacting. A reaction can be anything. It doesn't matter if it's, you know, toned down or to a high level. So I just did that to mock you guys and make fun of you. But yeah, let's get back into it and see what their analysis is on why he won.
Gojo had a lot going for him.
It's no surprise, given that his reputation in Jujutsu Kaisen is that of its pinnacle. At least it was.
First of all, it's unlikely Makima would see Gojo as inferior to her, in a similar way to how she saw Denji. So she wouldn't be able to immediately control Gojo.
Gojo's birth caused a giant shift in the world of curses. Plenty of people have recognized that after only seeing him once. Being better than everyone is literally Gojo's thing.
Plus, Gojo automatically refreshes his brain with positive cursed energy 24/7. Even if Makima could control him, it wouldn't last very long.
Gojo was obviously stronger too. The best feat we can compare Makima to is the Typhoon Devil Storms. But that's nothing compared to the meteor created by Jogo, who is leagues below Gojo in strength.
However, considering she reacted to the Gun Devil fragment, Makima would actually be a bit faster, though she would need to be able to get past Limitless for her speed to matter.
Makima had more devils than you can shake a fin at, but most were rendered moot against Limitless. Knives, fire, bombs, zombies, it's all stuff Gojo's dealt.
Yeah, those are weak conventional abilities, like, wow, fire, wow, a knife, wow, an explosion. You're really going to need something out of the box, either a character that's ridiculously overpowered, or at least decently overpowered, or, crazy abilities. But something as basic as a gun and stuff like that, it's like, what is she going to do? They can't hurt her, she can't hurt him, none of them can hurt him. The only way she could have beat him was with mind control, and even in that, she can't do that, so she had really nothing she could do against him. Even if she is physically, better, more powerful than him, he has, like, hacks that bypass, physical limitations like that. Unless if it was to a higher extent, but it's definitely not going to be to that level of an extent.
With before, and with zero issues.
And Gojo could easily wipe out her demonic crowd with red and blue whenever he wanted to.
The future devil could clue her in on anything nasty coming her way, but that wouldn't last forever. Plus, with Gojo's 6 eyes and teleportation, she had zero opportunities to break away and set up her instant kill moves.
But Gojo would obviously lose if he couldn't permanently kill Makima. 6 Eyes couldn't inform him of Makima's contract with the Prime Minister, and eventually one of Gojo's attacks could cause his death instead, even if it took a while.
And Makima did have a way past Limitless with her finger guns. Makima could land a...
Okay, so I did not think of that. Yeah, but that immortality thing, like I said, is just multiple other people's lives. So he can kill them, which is pretty fucked up to kill innocent people, but I didn't take into consideration, since they did explain that they would all be citizens, so technically he would be a citizen too and it'll kill him. So yeah, I was wrong about that. Just erase that from your memory about that whole statement that I made there. But because that is actually pretty clever. I didn't think of that. But the bang thing, I stated that it might work, it might not. Like I stated, that people like Luffy who can transfer their energy into his body, that's a way to bypass it, because usually people are thinking about physical attacks, like, energy attacks or punches and kicks. So he can bypass that, but he cannot bypass like psychic attacks, which can go past you physical forms. It can attack mentally, it can attack physically, so she could do that bang like that. And there's multiple other characters that can do that too. I think any character that has pretty much like telekinetic powers where they can move a person or fire something out like that, they can do that. So like, for example, characters in Dragon Ball that have Ki, which isn't like Ki. So you could beat, if they can't hurt Gojo with their physical attacks or their energy attacks, they can hit him with a Ki or their psychic attacks, because Goku's used that against Buu. I think it was Super Saiyan 3 Goku versus Kid Buu. He was doing like finger blasts and stuff like this, so he was hitting with that. And we've seen obviously Frieza hit Goku when in Super Saiyan, sending him flying. So there's characters, if they have psychic abilities or abilities like that, they can, like I said, direct their energy and kinetic force directly onto the target itself, then yeah, it will bypass his Limitless, which is nearly a perfect defense, but it isn't. And it's a good thing that it isn't, because if it is, then it's like, how are you supposed to beat a character that cannot be touched at all physically? Maybe I guess you could say mentally, but even let's say he can be touched mentally, then it's like, how the fuck are you gonna hurt him? So that makes sense. But like I said, he can regenerate. That's not enough to beat him.
Attacks directly on Gojo's body, meaning there's no projectile for Limitless to detect and infinitely slow down.
Though when they did land, Gojo's healing ensured that he repaired his body quickly.
On the flip side, Makima didn't have a counter to Gojo's domain expansion. Unlimited Void overloads its target with unlimited information. It's not really an attack.
You could call it an attack on the senses, but even if she could transfer it to other Japanese citizens, she still could not escape an infinite amount of information.
We can compare this to the Doll Devil, who was defeated by a technique similar to Unlimited Void.
Despite being able to transfer her mind across a large number of hosts, the Doll Devil was still trying to transfer infinite information across finite people. Even with all of Japan as mental meat shields, Makima would still be overwhelmed.
Wait, doesn't that mean Gojo just unintentionally killed basically everyone in Japan?
Don't think about it. Regardless, Gojo is immune to his own Unlimited Void, so he was still unaffected.
Good for him. The moment Unlimited Void landed, Makima...
So yeah, he has defense against the unlimited void, but I don't know if he has it against his own attack. Like let's say he fires off the purple whatever, and somebody has the ability to repel. Kind of like Meliodas, where I know his one is more like I think Meliodas could do it. I'm assuming that it's energy, but I think I've seen him do physical attacks too. But Meliodas can like send back the attack and double the power. So maybe if somebody has that ability, or just an ability where they can create a force field that repels the attack back at him, it could end up killing him or hurting him. But her bang, I didn't think. Like I said, it was kind of toss up of it would work. They stated it would, so I think that would be her biggest victory. Of her psychic ability was more like a regular psychic ability, and he didn't have the replenishing thing. That would have been her biggest way to beat him. But since she can't do that, and that's the limitation, I do think her bang ability would be the biggest help to beating him. But that wasn't enough. Maybe if she could repel his attack back at him, that she can kill him. But the infinite information thing, like I said, that's going to be hard to beat unless you have some psychic ability where you can put some mental blocks in your mind where you can filter out information or prevent information from entering your mind completely. But she doesn't have that ability, so she's not going to win.
Makima would be stuck, opening her up for a good old hollow purple.
Her contract isn't perfect. Makima only ever regenerated as long as there was some mass to come back from.
But hollow purple disintegrates anything.
And I also mentioned that too, so you can bypass that by just completely obliterating her. Because they mentioned she got shot in the head and stuff like that, and it's like, it's kind of impressive, but we know at this point characters like that, like Boo and stuff like that have these crazy regeneration abilities, you can basically obliterate them completely unless they have something where they're like immortality. So then you have to go past that to like soul, or wiping out the soul, or just existence erasure altogether. So it says stronger, better area control with red and blue. Hollow purple exceeds Makima's regeneration. Infinity and RCT countered most of Makima's offensives slower. She's faster. Contract counters some of Gojo's offense. Bang and control chains bypass limitless. Weaker would not cannot control Gojo. So yeah, I guess also that that case, I forgot what he said here, but yeah, she's not gonna have really anything there to beat him.
Thing it touches to zero. Literally, there's no way she was regenerating from that.
Sure, control as a concept will always exist, but a reincarnation of the control devil isn't Makima. This was one of the craziest fights we've ever had. However, with Gojo's raw power, broken counters, and unbelievably busted limitless, Makima lost control over this fight.
Makima thought she had Gojo by the ball and chain, but in the end, she was left hollow.
The winner is...
So that was Death Battles Gojo versus Makima. I think that video was really great. I think they made their point very well. Like I said, I was more on Makima's side because of the mental manipulation thing with the mind control stuff. But after finding out what she required to do that, it kind of made me change my opinion to Gojo, especially with all the abilities he had. And she had really the only one move, like the bang move in her arsenal, that could basically damage him, but everything else she couldn't basically touch him at all and wouldn't even come close to him. Though Gojo's not some unbeatable character, is just that he's very, very hard to beat because of how ridiculously OP his abilities are, and just how many he has and what he can do and how good he's at using it in general. And I know I went over the top with those reactions and acting stupid. I probably, when I'm editing it, I'm gonna be cringing the entire time. It was meant to be cringy and stupid and goofy looking because I was mocking you guys, and some of you guys might get annoyed by that, but I was kind of annoyed by you guys keep on complaining, saying, oh, he's not reacting to the fight, oh, now he's not showing emotion, oh, you shouldn't be calling it a reaction, you should be calling it an analysis, oh, you shouldn't be doing this, oh, you should just shut the fuck up. How about that? So I heard a lot of shit, so I thought it would be fun to throw some shit back at you guys. And this is not all of you guys, it was just some of you guys complaining, so this was towards those people acting that way. But I think their analysis was pretty good. I don't know enough about both these characters to say they were wrong with whatever, but I do agree with them. And I guess this should end the debate permanently because it's not even close. Now, technically, in the way we perceive it with the logic of, cursed creatures and then, the devils, they are pretty much similar. So I guess she would be just like a cursed being to Gojo. And I wonder what... shifting it from could she beat Gojo, which that's the case is no. I think the argument now should be, would Makima be the most powerful cursed being that he's ever faced? like in the Jujutsu Kaisen world. Like if we were to transfer into the Jujutsu Kaisen world as a curse being, would she be the most powerful and the biggest, challenge to him, or would she just be, one of the powerful ones, but there's much more powerful ones? Because I don't know fully about it, but she's definitely not on his level. She could just be one of the most powerful cursed beings that he fights against. So yeah, I hope you guys enjoyed, and stay tuned for next time.